What's up, everybody, and welcome to the Football Boot Hour with me, James, my co-host Andrew of the Lockhart Boot Blog, and today we are joined by a very special guest, Trev Dunphy. Trev, you probably know if you're in the boot world. Trev is the Pred man. He knows all about the Predators. How are you doing today, for Trev?
I'm good, James. Thanks for having me on.
No, you are very, very welcome. Thank you for joining us. And so today we are going to be ranking, or we're going to make a list of the top 5 Predators of all time. Now, we all have our own lists. We don't know what each other have got on our lists. We're going to go through number 5. We're all going to say what our pick is. That is going to get a point. Number 1. 1 point for 5th place, 2 points for 4th place, etc. And at the end, we will have a definitive list of the best 5 Preds of all time.
This is definitive.
Definitive. Nobody will be able to argue with us. This is going to be just regular, like mainline Preds to start with. And then we're going to take your questions, and then we will do remakes afterwards. So don't get angry at us that there's no remakes in this first section. So this is essentially, just get straight into it, shall we? So number 5, if everybody wants to get together what their 5th is, and should we all? Are you writing them down, Andrew? Are you just showing them, or are you just going to shout them out? Shout them out. Okay, I'm going to write mine. Trev's going to show his.
We love to show mine. Yeah, we love.
Here, I'm going to show this one actually. Ready? So 5th place for all of us. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Trev went. Okay, so Trev's gone absolute. I have gone with the current generation. That's my 5th place. And what are you going with, Andrew?
I'm gonna do the absolute as well.
Okay, so the absolute. Apologies, everybody, if I look like I'm down here scribbling away. It's because I am. I need to make notes. There we go. So we'll start with Trev. You're the guest.
Gotta be organized on this.
Yeah, I know, right? Why the absolute, Trev?
Okay. When they hit the mania, I thought they hit all the right spots. I wasn't a big fan of the pulse, for me personally. So the absolute was really one I really enjoyed when it came back. It was a little bit lighter. The vamps were a bit more thinner, and which was very comfortable. I enjoyed it a lot more than the pulse, for sure.
Okay, Andrew, what are your thoughts on the absolute?
Yeah, kind of similar to that. The absolute. I see the absolute as like a gateway drug to the Predators because the vamps weren't overly like there. It was mostly leather, and at the time, a lot of people were still wearing K-leather boots, so you could kind of convince yourself like, okay, it's just got a bit added extra. It's not over the top. So it was easier for some people to justify like, okay, these Predators aren't so wild, I can try these.
I see that.
And
I like that.
The leather, a different weight as well in it.
Yeah.
That was another thing another gimmick you could say. Yes,
it was another gimmick, but it was pretty cool, and the leather was pretty thin. I mean, like even by today's standards, the leather's pretty thin on those.
Nice. And I've gone for the Pred 30 because honestly, I didn't think I could leave it off the list, but I also have Predators that are kind of like obviously higher up. I genuinely think this is fantastic. I think it's an amazing boot, and I think in a lot further down the line it will end up higher up the list. But for now, it's still a current model. It still has time to go. So yeah, that's where I'm going with
I will say, James, if you'd let me do a top 7, I would have had
Trev has already revealed there is no current gen Pred on his list. There we go. Okay, spoiler alert. Okay, so that is 5th position. We'd like to welcome everybody into the chat who has arrived. Track is here. Yuli at quetzalcoatl.x. Yuli says, Mania number 1, 2 to 5, everything else. And Justin is here, and he's here to argue, and here to anticipate trying to get the Predator edge on here, I am sure, which is never going to happen. We'll move on to 4th place. So for 4th place, again, in 3, 2, 1, what have you got? I've gone for the Addy Power. Oh, okay. All right. So we have a Power Swerve and an Addy Power.
And 4th is a bold choice.
I think it
I
could be a
did-
It's in the top five.
generation.
It's in
It
the
could be
top
down a
five.
generation, I think, Andrew.
Yeah.
If I was a bit younger,
Fair
maybe I
enough.
probably would appreciate the Power Sphere a bit more. Maybe because of I'm a little bit older.
That's understandable.
okay.
But it's on the top five, so that's not bad.
Oh no, for sure. I mean, I thought the elements that they had there, I thought they were brilliant. This is a well-worn boot many years ago, but I love that was it power foam they called it? Can't remember what it was called.
Yeah.
But love that design. Now the tongue could have been the two color thing. I wasn't really a huge fan of. Could have maybe just threw a red tongue on it, but other than that, the sole plate was class. I love the sole plate in these,
Sole plate
and
was
also
amazing.
that sole plate. A lot of pros used on the X.
That sole plate
I didn't
was
hear
around
what
for a while,
I didn't hear what your choice was, Andrew. What was your fourth place?
because I didn't say my choice yet.
That's why I didn't hear it.
I had it a second ago, and then it went out of my brain.
Well, I'll tell you what I went for.
The Rotera, the current Predator Rotera.
Okay, so do we put that along with the current Pred that I had, or are we having it as its own individual element?
I was just gonna put it along with.
Yeah, I think along with is fair. Yeah. So okay, we'll put that along with the current generation, but in your eyes specifically the Rotero.
The Rotero, yeah.
Yeah, that's
I think that would be if you're picking one out of I think the 15 fold over tongue pair. I think that'd be the one. Yeah, that would be.
Yeah, it speaks for itself. It's excellent. And every week hearing Justin show off his pair that are getting more and more worn in as time goes on, they always look excellent, and they felt excellent. I just didn't want to. I was so worried about taking them on pitch because I was like, I don't want to ruin these, blah blah blah. And then somebody came in and made a stupid offer for my pair, so I was like, okay,
yeah,
I can't argue with that.
Yeah.
Cannot argue with that. Okay, so we've got a low power swerve from Trev, according to Andrew. He's saying it's low, and we may see the power swerve again at another point on other lists. Andrew's gone for the Pred 30, and I went for the Addy Power. So I've done something, and I've planned this ahead. I know this is going to happen. This is not a mistake. I have left off a boot on this list that's going to upset a lot of people, and I'm okay with that because I think I put on the Addy Power on the basis that not necessarily the synthetic one, but the Addy Power just half because of the tooling, and it's just a phenomenal boot. And I think it just gets it gets swept under the rug. It lumped in with that X generation of boots that nobody liked, but it's actually fantastic.
Yeah,
and I think deserves.
It came after the X, and actually, I really enjoyed that one. I thought I should have got a second year because that was the first model that had just the 1 year.
Yeah, I agree. That should have definitely got another one. But yeah, I think we spoke about this the other week, Andrew and I. But it's one of my favorite Preds. So
yeah,
excellent. Okay, so we're definitely going to get all this done. I knew this would work. Okay, we are going into third place now, and I don't have my third place. So Trev's going to be the only one holding anything up here.
Yeah.
So in 3.
Well, do you want to say it first before I put mine up for a change?
No, you go first.
Okay.
3,
Go ahead. You're the guest.
2, 1. You're up, Trev. What we got?
Ooh,
okay, Accelerator. Yeah. Beautiful.
Especially that sole plate too is just gorgeous.
It really is, isn't it?
It's just a good looking sole plate. Even now, yeah. Again, it's one of those. It's a shame it's been done to death with remakes because you start to lose appreciation for how good that model was.
Even the stripes is just so 90s, really, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It's really 90s turning into the new millennium design.
My only thing with the Accelerator was that I didn't wear it. I never had an Accelerator.
That was my big decision before making the top 5. It was I didn't wear that Pred either. The first time I wore the Accelerator was actually a remake.
Oh yeah, Andrew, what's going in third place for you?
The Addy Power.
The Addy Power, nice.
Mhm.
Okay,
Yeah.
I wasn't sure if you'd go Addy Power or if I'd be the only one, but that's
No. I love the Addy Power. It was one of those boots that, again, I didn't even properly appreciate it at the time until maybe around by the time the LZ2 came out. I started looking back. I'm like, oh, that was actually really good. Whereas I've talked before about my buddy, his name's Chris, who's a diehard Pred guy, and he absolutely loved the Addy Power. And that was one of the boots he sent over to me when he stopped playing. And I was like, oh, sweet, I can run in Addy Powers again. They were size 7. I was like, okay, I can't fit in. Him and I have the same size feet, but he just absolutely, I like my boots tight. He just destroys his feet just to have tight boots.
I'm glad there's some love for the Addy Power being
Great
shown
boot,
today.
Great boot.
Yes, fantastic boot. Okay, so we're already up. We've already got 3 done. Have we? No, I haven't said mine. Hold on. What am I talking about? So this is where I'm putting the Power Swerve. So the Power Swerve is going in here. If we want to be specific, it would be the Beckham Climber Light model. I really like that one. I think that was fantastic. But yes, this is where my Power Swerve is going. Unbelievable boot. It's kind of that and the Addy Power of the older ones are the two that I'm like, I would want to pick those up and wear them now. Like I would be cool with that. But yeah, Power Swerve, the elements on that pretty special. Like big fan of the Power Swerve. I'm sure this won't be the last time somebody says Power Swerve on this list.
There is a Climacool pair sitting on a resale site here.
Stop telling me things like this.
Yeah.
What size?
It's size 8, so it's James's size. And the only problem is they're wanting about 500 euros for it.
Ugh, painful.
Yeah. Well, if I'd been quicker, there's some dude who sold a pair for 180.
Oh man.
And it was it was just dirty, but all the stripes, because the big problem with that Power Swerve is over time, the webbing at the front just tears off.
Oh yeah,
yeah. Not even the stripes go first. So yeah, and I missed out on it, but there is a pair that's pretty much brand new. It looks like it's been worn maybe once or twice.
Yeah, that and I really want a pair of the Rooney Hypervenom ones, the limited pair. The red and white ones.
There's a pair of those sitting over here too.
There's 2 pairs over here, but they're both 500 euro. It's not money that I've got to be dropping on boots. But anyway, let's get back to what we're doing. So I just want to read out a couple of the chats here. So James Pitry has put his top 5 in. So he's got Mania number 1, Precision 2, Pulse 3, Absolute 4, and Power Swerve 5. And then Justin has gone for an interesting list. Some left field picks, but there is no edge. He's gone 1 for the Mania, 2 for the Instinct Crazy Light. Now, don't get me wrong, it's a great boot. It's an interesting one at 2, though. 3 for the Power Swerve, 4 for the Rotero, and 5 for the Absolute. So interesting list. Keep putting your lists down in the chat, guys, and we'll get to them.
Boot Zone has joined us.
The Boot Zone has just joined. Morning, afternoon, evening, chaps. Yeah, you're just about right. Let's move on to second place.
The remake is a different list.
The remake is a different list. We said that at the beginning.
Yuli's frustrated because there's not enough remakes.
The remakes will come in a minute.
Yeah.
Okay, second place. 3, 2, 1. Trev, what you got in second place?
Champagne Mania.
Champagne Mania, specifically the Champagne Mania. It is the best colorway.
It might look like lunar on the camera, but it's champagne.
He promises it's champagne.
Yeah.
Why the Champagne Mania? Why that one? Obviously, it's iconic, but why for you? Why that one?
That one, well, when they released in 2002, I got them straight away. Wore them to death. I got the SG version, and you could see the screws coming out with the blades. They were just worn. I was actually disappointed I didn't keep them, just for nostalgia reasons, but they were fit for the game.
It's one I've never owned a Champagne Mania. I owned the OG colorway Mania, but I've never owned the Champagne Mania. My brother had them. I'm very jealous. It's probably one of my favorite all time boots. Of course he did. My brother had everything cool. He had all the cool stuff, even the cool stuff that was terrible, like the tunics and things like that. Andrew, what is your second place?
My second place is Precision.
Precision, nice.
Yeah.
Predator
That was
Precision.
probably one of the first boots where it's like, oh yeah, I want that.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I've told this before. I did tell this before, where two of the guys at school were sponsored by Addy in their Derby County's academy, and they both wore the Precisions. And then we had another couple of kids who, obviously wealthy parents, bought them Precisions, and they just looked so good, like so modern at the time. And so, like,
very futuristic with the stripes.
Yeah. And they felt awesome on feet, and I actually liked the Velcro for some reason, and I loved the vamp on those as well.
I will also be going for the Precision at second place. Pretty much everything that you've just said, and obviously you tie in a little David Beckham nostalgia into there, and you've got a beautiful combination. But yeah, really, there's something about the way that boot looks, particularly in that whiteout colorway, or the white colorway with the red tongue, that is really, really amazing. And then obviously it felt great as well. Like, it's a really enjoyable boot. I didn't actually try any of the remakes, leather remakes, etc. But I do have some of the 0.1 remakes on the way from when they did them with the pink tongue.
Oh, yeah.
So that should be really looking forward to trying those, because I didn't try those when they launched. But yeah, Precision for me as well. Which leads us.
We've got a few more. We've got a few more people's list in here.
Cool. So, I can't see them, so you're up.
Yeah, Matthew has number 1, the Dragon Pulses. Great choice. 2, nice. Champagne Mania. 3, Addy Power. 4, Power Swerve. 5, Accelerator. D-Rod just dropped his in. 1, Mania. 2, Absolute. 3, Pulse. 4, Power Swerve. 5, Rotero.
A lot of love for the Rotero.
Yeah. It's a great boot.
Nice. Yeah, keep them coming in, guys. Keep them coming in.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, now I see them. Dragon Pulses, Champagne Mania, Addy Power, yeah. And again, more Addy Power than I was expecting. I was not expecting a lot of Addy Power here, but there's a lot of love going for the Addy Power, and I'm okay with this. I'm feeling the love. So we'll move on to number 1, and then we'll get into some questions that you guys sent in. If you have questions, you can put them in the chat as well. Trev, what's your number 1?
Well, for those who don't know, those who follow me, they know this is my ultimate favorite boot. It's White Precision.
Yeah,
there it is. That's the one.
This is actually the boot I wore in 2001. And because it was such a good season, I actually just decided to keep them. And the Mania was released. So little did I know, 20 odd years later, I'd have a bigger collection than just one pair of boots. Precision is my all-time favorite. It was my first Pred as well, so I'd say that's a reason why I'm biased.
Yeah, that's you were talking before. We talked some time ago about, like, a lot of people's favorite Pred is their first one. So I remember talking to you about my favorite Pred, but my first Pred was the Absolute, and you're like, oh, that's interesting that your first Pred isn't your favorite one. But yeah, I think for the most part, you're on the money with that. Like, a lot of people's favorite Pred is the first Pred they wore.
Yeah, I think so. Now, then I went down to colorways. I had the nerve to wear white boots that season. But
yeah, people don't understand now, but at the time, that is pretty risky.
That was different back then, yeah.
Oh, white boots was a wild choice back then. Yeah. That's the equivalent of, like, neon pink or something these days. Like, golden pink would be like that. That'd be like wearing white boots back then. That's crazy. Oh dear. Andrew, you're number 1. What are you going for?
Okay, so I saw this in the chat. Thought that was kind of funny. Objectively, the best Predator is the Mizuno Wave Ignitus 2 or the Wave Ignitus 1. They're just amazing boots. They took the Predator formula and they went with it, and they just performed really well. But obviously, I can't put those at number 1 on the list.
No, you cannot. That as funny as that would be.
That would be the number 1 in, like, the most Predator boot released by other brands.
We
Easily.
we actually got a question just before, which we were like, I was going to bring this up, and it's from a guy, Alex Vander _, said thoughts on the Mizuno Wave Ignitus model as a Predator competitor, and I was like, Andrew's just going to say it's better. I know what's coming.
When those those released at the end of 2009, right as the Predator X came out, and
perfect timing, kind of
perfect timing, and that was kind of like, I do remember some people at the time, like, if you're disappointed with the Pred X, get the Ignitus.
Yeah.
Okay.
And yeah, there's, I mean, not widespread, just in the little, I'd already joined like a boot nerd forum at that point, and just people are like, this is Japan's Predator, you should get this instead. But yeah, they're absolutely brilliant, and definitely took a lot of inspiration from the Pred.
So if you can't have the Wave Ignitus, what are you having instead?
I mean, it's obvious. It's going to be the Power Swerve.
It's going to be the Power Swerve.
Not specific. Yeah, not this specific colorway. This is just the only one I have left that's in any decent shape. I actually like the white, black, red, the second release colorway better. But yeah, I mean, what is there to say about this boot that hasn't already been said? There's so much, like, the Pred elements were done really, really well.
Yeah.
You know, they were over the top in a place where they could be over the top, but like slimmed down in areas where they could be slimmed down. The weight thing, okay, it's a bit weird, but you kind of get used to it. I've talked before, this heel is one of the best heels on any boot ever.
Yeah, you always say that.
Even if you check the X's, the professionals had that sole plate.
Yeah, this sole plate went on for a while. I mean, didn't Van Persie slap? No, he had the Addy Power.
No, he had the Addy Power. Yeah.
But yeah, this sole plate refused to die, and you know, even now, like, it holds up really, really well. If you're playing on AG, the HG model plays better than this. I've worn this on AG, and there's a suspicious lack of grip. But there's just so much good stuff about this boot. I mean, even the insole, like, okay, yeah, it's got the, you know, praised or derided depending on your viewpoint, but it also had the adiprene, which was super comfortable. And even the parts where, you know, it's not that, it's a nice insole. It's like really premium. So, I mean, they did a really good job with this boot. I think it deserves a lot of praise. How many pairs of these have I worn? This is probably number...
Was there 20 colorways? Was there 20 colorways?
Yeah, I think there's about 20 colorways. I've worn about 6 of them. I think 6 or 7 of them. But yeah, it's just a brilliant, brilliant boot. Even wearing it now, it's like... And the other thing you forget is, like, how good this leather is even. And
yeah.
There was a bit less leather than the Absolute, but the leather was better quality on these than the Absolute for me.
Okay, so hold on, I need to read this one out because I've just got a chat here. I need to read this one out because this is my brother, who had the Champagne Manias, who got all the cool boots. Just Water Wizard UK down the bottom there. So his list is, surprisingly enough, number 1, Champagne Mania. Number 2, the white Precisions, Trev's favorite Precisions. Number 3, the Power Swerve, the Afcon colorway. It's a great colorway. The white and blue Pulses. So that'd be the Dragon Pulses, and number 5, the Absolute. So thank you, Luke, for jumping on and sharing your list when you had all the cool boots and I had none. And just to round off our list, obviously I have mine, and my number 1 is my first Predator, the first pair that I ever owned, and I do still have it, and it's in an absolute state, and it's this. This is my Predator Mania. Now, this is actually the boot that's in like reasonable condition. The other one has a completely cracked sole plate all the way across it. And I literally wore these, they snapped in 2, and I just took them off my feet, put them in a box, and did nothing with them ever again. Like, that's just where they are. So they still have like death mud on them from the day that they died. But yeah, that's my number one is the Mania, and that's it's partly because of that being my first ever Mania, partly because of the looks and all that kind of stuff. So with that done, our top 5. Would you like to know what the scores are and what the order is? Because this is interesting.
Well,
So
I think before we do
go
that,
on. Yes,
we should go over some other people's lists in here.
let's do it.
So the Boot Zone, number 1, Mania Gunmetal. Number 2, the Red Pulse. 3, Precision. 4, the Current Predator. And 5, Addy Power. Yuli's is 1, Champagne Mania.
Mm-hmm.
Number 2, the Pred LZ.
LZ2.
The LZ2, yeah.
Interesting.
Number 3, the Pred Pulse. Number 4, the Current Pred. And number 5, the Accelerator. Yeah. Master and Vito, the most Predator boot by a non-Predator brand. Or non-Addy brand. It was good. That was very much a Predator ripoff.
And then just say hi to Chris Pottle, who's just arrived. Evening all. Chris is always with us, so thank you for joining us, Chris. There we go. Okay, let's break it down. So in 5th place, we have a joint 5th place with the Accelerator and the current generation Pred, the Pred 30 or Rotero, all as one. I think that's fair for 5th place. In 4th place, we have the Addy Power. So 5th place got 3 points altogether. In 4th place, we have the Addy Power with 5 points. So I'm pretty pleased that made it onto the list there. Now our top 3. Wait for the chat to go crazy, the comments to go nuts, because in 3rd place with 9 points is the Mania. If you know, I'm going full Jose. If I speak, I'm in trouble.
If the Predator guy himself is fine with that, then
yeah. If Trev's okay with that, then we're okay with that. That's fine. In 2nd place with 10 points is the Power Swerve. A mighty showing from the Power Swerve there. And remember, this is a definitive list, and nobody can argue with this ever again.
That's it.
And in 1st place is the Precision with 13 points. So Pred 30 / Accelerator, Addy Power, Mania, Power Swerve, Precision. That is the list. Let us know what you think down in the comments.
Said, stop the count.
Everybody.
Lads, I hope you don't cancel after this.
Yeah, everybody can get really mad that the Mania's at number 3.
I mean,
I kind of love that it's not number 1 though. I know, the thing is, I thought people were going to get upset because I didn't put the Accelerator on my list and you didn't put the Mania on yours. So, if somebody's firing shots, it's not coming at me. You're the one that's in trouble.
I didn't put the Mania or the Accelerator in my top 5.
Yeah, there you go. I was like, fair enough. Okay, let's move on to a couple of questions. We got some questions from you all. Thank you for sharing those on Instagram. And we're just going to ask a few, and then we'll move on to this week's releases, and then we'll cover the top 5 remakes of all time as well. We'll do it exactly the same way. So, Trev, the first question is for you from Chris Pottle. Chris wants to know, you didn't buy Preds for a long time. That's kind of well known within the boot community, I think, that you just didn't buy any of the newer generation Preds. He wants to know if this current generation didn't have an FT model, so there was no fold over tongue, and you just got the laced and the laceless, would you have even bought them? Because obviously you love the boots, but it's like, would you have completely skipped them if they didn't have the tongue?
Just a backstory. So when the Instinct was the last Predator, I stockpiled and wore the Instincts from 2014 to 2017. I was happy out. I wasn't going to wear the Ace. I was going to wear the most recent Pred, which was the Instinct. And then May 2017, they dropped the Mania Champagne remake. I didn't get that one because it looked a bit off. But the 18 Plus was dropping in about September, October 2017. So I bought the Blue Precision remake, and I was still curious of getting this new Pred, the 18 Plus. So I got one pair. Hated it. Absolutely hated it. For me, it was a glorified Ace. And I just lost total interest in the latest Preds. But the fact that they kept making all the remakes, I was happy for the next 7 years just wearing the remakes. I was looking at the new releases, but I was like, I think the Freak did probably look the most like a proper Predator with all the elements. But again, I was actually about to get the accuracy, just maybe because the name and I had them elements on it. But when the tongue came back, I was hook, line, and sinker. Answering Chris's question, I probably wouldn't have got it. Probably wouldn't.
Just kept getting remakes.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, and I ended up buying too many of the recent ones this year.
I could be wrong here, but do you not have pretty much every FT Pred with the exception of like you didn't get the Trents, and then I'm assuming you didn't get the whatever the last FT Pred was before this one, the blue polka dotty thing.
Yeah, I didn't get that one. I think it was Reemergence. Am I correct?
That's the one, yeah.
And the Trent one, it was in my basket and was gone. So that was So they were the only two faux lower tongues I didn't get. No, and I always try and wear them, but there's so many this year I haven't worn them all yet.
It'll keep you going. The next generation might be terrible. You never know. It'll keep you going for a while.
Yeah, maybe to take off the tongue and I can save a bit of money.
Okay.
The thing is, I don't think Tred's the only one like that.
Mm-hmm.
I think there seems to be just this underground movement of people are just buying the tongue one again, and if they get rid of the tongue again, we'll probably stop buying.
From what I heard, I don't know if this is true or not. The tongue was a late shout on the design.
Interesting.
And that was why there's a delay on pairs in January, February, March, April. I don't know if it's true or not.
Probably, like, obviously the demand and then the delay probably didn't help at all because they were
if they just
a
left
disaster.
The tongue on the Pred 30, I would have been happy. You know, I wouldn't, but they didn't.
Okay. I'd have a look at another question. Here we go. So the bootlocker here has put, what was the thinking behind the discontinuation of the Instinct? I just want to mention the question, but we won't cover it because we actually did a whole podcast on that. So there's a whole podcast on that one. But I will go to one of the bootlocker's other questions, which is, what was your main issue with the Predator X, and is the hate justified? I'll come to Andrew first, and then I also want to get Trev's thoughts on that. What are you thinking, Andrew? Pred X, hate justified? What was the problem?
Yes, hate was absolutely justified. They just... So things they did right. The idea of changing the Predator, the power zone or whatever, that was fine. Like, that was totally fine. It was in a decent spot and everything. That made sense. I think moving from kangaroo leather to calf leather, like, that also I don't think was a bad thing. But they added so much bulk to the design. And the Predator, like, don't get me wrong, the Predator's never been, like, a slimmed-down, lightweight boot. But even just, even just the silhouette was just super bulky looking. And the heel cup was way over the top. Like, it was huge. It was a massive heel cup. And, like, the fit didn't feel the same. And putting a burrito tongue on the Pred was just... that was just a dumb idea. I don't know. I hope whoever did that got slapped at least once a day for the rest of their life.
Once a day until the current gen came out.
Right.
Trev, what do you reckon? Like, why do you think the hate's justified? I know obviously you weren't a fan. Where did it go wrong?
Well, when the X came out, I always wore soft ground no matter what. So every time a Predator model came out, I always wore them. So I got the OG colorway, and the sole plate was so sore. The 6-stud configuration was so sore on my foot, and it actually made me go firm ground. And I stopped wearing soft ground until the Mania remakes in 2022. So I actually went firm ground because of that. I didn't like the boot at all. Okay, the tongue was gone. It didn't really matter, but when you're looking at a professional, now I know the professionals get a better quality boot than what we get, but when you see the majority of the boot itself, the design was totally different to the retail. You know they've gone.
Yeah.
Yeah, if they go that far, like it's sometimes, like, yeah, I don't read too much into what pros have got most of the time, but sometimes when you look blanket across all the pros and they're all not wearing
Yeah,
anything close to retail, you're like,
exactly.
Yeah,
fair
yeah.
enough. Okay. Ollie Roach would just like to know when his Vivid Horizon Preds will arrive from Pro Direct. He's just being impatient, which is fair enough. And Footloose Boots here has asked which of the remakes is the best, which I think gives us a good opportunity to just rank this week's releases and then move on to what remakes we've got. So let's have a look at. Hold on, I'm going to try and do something we haven't done before here. There we go.
Hey.
Yeah, everyone can see the tier list. Good, good, good. Because I'm looking at about 4 different screens right now, ladies and gents. So I hope everybody else is doing well. Okay. So this is our tier list. I've been trying to do this forever to actually get the tier list up on the live. We now have it. And I have all of this week's releases down the bottom there, unless I've forgotten something, which I frequently do. So the logical thing to do is to obviously start with the Adidas drop, with the Pred release, I suppose, of the Vivid Horizon pack. So we've got a Pred, the F50, and the F50 Plus in this one, as well as the Copa. So I suppose, Trev, what are you thinking about the colorway of this particular Predator?
The colorway is nice. I am liking it. I did actually buy a pair. The tongue
We're
just
so shocked. We're so shocked by that.
the tongue just needs to be more red. It's
Mhm.
the tongue just needs to be more. Why
Yep,
can't we
absolutely.
get a Predator red tongue? I mean, we got on the Rotario and the Trent boot. Why can't we get a Predator red tongue?
Because Solar Red's clearly so much more fun. This is this. Well, I don't even think this is Solar Red, is it? It's more kind of pinky.
Yeah, I don't know. No, I don't.
Okay, so where would you put the
I'd
Pred?
put these in good.
You would put them in good. Okay,
Yeah.
that seems fair enough. Hold on, let me see if I can get a bigger picture of that as well, so everybody can see it. Yeah, look at me go. And Andrew, what are your thoughts here on the Pred? I think we'll rank everything else together, but the Pred, I think we speak about individually.
Yeah, so it's interesting because we're just starting to hit the saturation point for sure.
Hell
People are kind of getting fed up. But then this color comes out and people are like, oh. So let's put it in good, just because I agree with Trev. It's really good. I kind of wanted to get a pair, but again, broke. And they sold out immediately here.
Wow.
Every FT Pred, because we haven't been getting every FT colorway.
Okay.
But as soon as an FT Pred comes out here, they all sell out immediately, like 5-6 minutes.
Right.
Youch.
Yeah.
Like I got them 5 days after. Like they're just so.
Oh yeah, they're still available. Like
yeah.
Everywhere else in every other country, but in Japan, they're doing very limited pairs. Adidas has definitely changed their strategy here, and yeah, I think the last fold-over tongue we got the Rotero, and then we got the Japan Blue, and the Japan Blue went even quicker. It was like you refresh the page and they were gone.
Right.
So, but yeah, there's been a severe limited amount of the fold-over tongue here, but when they have released, they've just gone immediately. Every colorway.
And this colorway had a soft ground sole play as well, actually.
Yeah. I saw that.
Well, yeah.
Enough. I agree. I think good for that one as well. I think that's a fair place to put it. Honestly, if this had been maybe the second or third colorway, then I might have been like great. But I'm definitely suffering from colorway fatigue at this point.
Yeah,
it's too much. I genuinely think, and this is probably a topic for another time, but that they should have taken all of these colorways, spread them over 2 years, and had a 2-year life cycle on what is an excellent boot. And they had enough colorways. Just spread it over 2 years and it would have been fine. They do not need the 12-month life cycle. Anyway, that's going to get us way off topic. So let's get back to ranking. So we'll have a look at the rest of that pack, I suppose, the Vivid Horizon pack. So we've obviously got the F50 Plus, which I personally think looks amazing. Hold on, let's get this. Let's get the old screen back up here. Let's look at this. This is going so well.
Hey.
So yeah, so we got the old the F50 Plus, which I think looks fantastic. Obviously there is a laceless variation and a laced variation as well, which also look good. And then of course we have the Copa, which a lot of people seem to like. It's not my jam, not gonna lie to you. Not my jam at all. Trev, what are you thinking for the rest of the pack? I realize this is way outside your wheelhouse. This is not a Predator. What's happening?
Are these football? I don't know. Right. So the
Thoughts and rankings, sir.
I think I'm looking at the F50 laces, the laces one with the black. That's I put them in great.
Yeah,
F50 Plus is beautiful.
Yeah, F50 Plus. That's a nice boot. The Kappa, meh. That's my opinion on it. And the other two. So which one's the one on the left beside the Kappa? That's just the F50 laceless, is it?
That's
exactly.
Just a regular laceless.
Yeah, good I suppose. And the laces, meh.
Okay, Trev has had his say. Andrew, what are you thinking here? I think we all kind of agree that this F50 Plus is great.
Yeah, it's great. That's superb colorway. The little silver accent for the for where the I completely forgot what it's called.
Oh,
but
the light strike
just makes it light strike. Yeah, a light strike. I actually quite like the laced model because it's got a black tongue. So it's got a nice contrast. Oh, hey, Windows. It's got a nice contrast for me. So that can go in like good. And then the laceless looks pretty poor, honestly, because there's not enough contrast. So I put that in there.
Yeah, I pretty much agree with all of that, to be honest. So yeah, let's stick that in there, and we're on a roll. I'm quite enjoying having our
the Copa. The Copa can go in meh. I mean, the color is good, but I'm so ambivalent about that boot. Like,
you felt like meh as well, didn't you, Trev?
Yeah,
perfect.
That boot just needs to die already. I just need to kill it. They should have just stopped releasing colorways in it.
It kind of felt like, obviously they didn't, but it really did feel like they did that. They were just like, let's just not even bother. Like,
they shouldn't have bothered. It's not a great boot. Like, if you want a leather boot from one of the big three, okay, there it is. But like, I'd argue you should just get the classic Copa Mundial over these. Yeah, it's way heavier. Yeah, it's not as modern, but it's just so much better.
I haven't tried it, but the icon is apparently all right as well. Like, as a kind of middle ground to there. I haven't tried it personally. I only really know off the back of Justin saying that he likes that one. Okay, we'll move on to the next boot. Let's have a look at these. So these mad individual things from Nike. So this is the Cosmic Speed pack, Cosmic Speed Mercurial, which looks like it's going to replace the Dream Speed series, which feels like, I find this very funny, but it feels like it's a way to kind of kick Ronaldo out of that kind of getting of the pack, because the Dream Speed was always Ronaldo and everybody else got the boots with Ronaldo, and this feels very much like, it's the same thing, but we're not doing.
You're not part of this clique anymore.
Ronaldo's no longer part of the club. That's my the vibes I'm getting anyway. Trev, what are your thoughts on this? I know we're going way off base here. Nike boots, my God, what are we doing to you? What
is that like a correct signal? No, I'm joking. I think you look very basic. Now, maybe I'm out of turn saying that. For me, meh. Not because it's a Nike boot. I just think maybe I've chosen chaos. I don't know.
You've definitely chosen chaos.
100%, Trev. 100%. Okay. We love chaos, though. Andrew, what are your thoughts, mate?
I think they're just good. They're cool, but like Nike saying they're a new technology, and the fact that it seems like this Seb has a great Substance Football. Go watch his video about these. He's got a great video about the materials on it, but it seems like it's kind of negated the grip knit on it, which I think is hilarious. Is one of the biggest selling points of the new Vapor. It's like, hey, let's make a colorway that just completely gets rid of one of our biggest selling points. So I'm just gonna put it in good.
Yeah, I think they look fantastic, but I do think that there's definitely issues. So that band that runs across the toe box there, that is, I've been told that is 100%. There is no grip net there. There is not even a modicum of kind of grip there, which is just mad. But they look.
It is hilarious. Just
Mine are the Nitro Charge actually. Do you remember the Nitro Charge, the yellow
with the band across? Yeah. But yeah, so
it is objectively hilarious how many times Nike shoots themselves in their own feet.
I would like to give a shout out to the Bootcast podcast here as well. I watched that recently, and I think it was Justin made a great point that Nike have made a big deal about them being like all this brand new and everything. I'm sure it is new tech, but they do look very similar to those Modric, like the unreleased Modric's kind of blacky green kind of colors. They're very similar. So shout out to the guys from the Bootcast for picking up on that. Okay, we have a couple left to do, so let's do the New Balance pack together. So that is this one here, which is the Furon and the Tequila. So this is the Power Surge pack. This is obviously everybody trying to get out maybe one pack, maybe two packs before the end of the year. But Trev, Power Surge pack, what are your thoughts?
The Tequila is blue, is it?
The Tequila is the blue, yeah.
Yeah, I like the blue. I go good for the blue. A bit meh on the other one.
Sacrilege. I really like orange boots. Andrew, what are your thoughts?
Just good for both.
Good for both?
It's a really good shade of blue. You know what? Put the Tequila in great. It actually got released here. Amazing times. Haiti times. I don't know what's going on. They actually released this boot over here. And we got the HG sole plate.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You sent me that. You sent me a picture of that. I was wild that one, you got it and you got the HG, which looks very good. Yeah. Okay. So we will go with great for the Tequila and good for the Furon. I feel like I probably like them. I probably like the Furon more than good, but Trev went meh and you went good, so we can't put any higher than good for sure. So that's fine. Speaking of red, we were complaining about things not being red enough. Well, if this isn't red enough,
it's got a fold over tongue.
Red with a fold over tongue. So this is the Diadora Brazil Classico, I believe. And that's just
George
lovely,
Weah
isn't
inspired.
Trev, this is in your wheelhouse, right?
Yeah, this is good. Yeah, I'm going with good. It's got good 90s vibes on it.
It does have good 90s vibes. Andrew?
I would put it in great, but the tongue looks pretty cheap, so I'll just good. I know it's not a high-end model, but still,
yeah, fair enough.
Do a bit better. But the red is so good. That's such a good shade of red as well.
I think that's the main reason I like it, is just how good this shade of red is. It's unbelievable. I love it. Adidas could learn a thing or two. I've got a random. There we go. That's it.
Yeah,
that is us ranked for this week. Thank you very much.
A couple of things. Proper Boots asked about the Cruyff Recopas. We ranked those last week. And then Tracker's asking about the Scudetta. We actually ranked the Scudetta ages ago.
We ranked the Scudetta even before we had Sergio on the podcast.
We did it when they first kind of did their press rounds back. What was that? January, or February?
Something like that.
We put them in great. So
yeah. The general rule for the ranking, in case anybody is interested, is we don't rank anything that's a leak, but as soon as it's official in any way, it gets ranked. And those Scudettas were official a long time ago with the AFCON colorway.
Chris Pottle points out the Copa Gloro Aurora also came out this week.
Yeah, the blue one. I didn't even bother putting it
Yeah.
on the list. Not gonna lie to you, it's very nice,
Um,
but I didn't even bother putting it on the
just
list.
on principle, I'm gonna put it in good above the current Copa. Oh, and then Ida had another release. That's right, they had another blue.
And you know what the beauty of that is that Yuli reminded me of that, like literally either
Forgot.
this morning or yesterday, and I totally forgot. I had
Nice.
it all ready to go and everything, and I just completely messed it up. Yeah,
Nice.
it's got boobs on the sole plate.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and the whole thing is like protect your lemons.
yeah.
Very clever.
Protect your
Very
lemons.
clever.
It's really good.
I liked it. Very clever. Good stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, sorry we missed that. That one is a fail. The Gloro was a deliberate omission. That one was not. That was me failing, despite being reminded by Yuli. Fail.
I think
Okay,
if they release another one of these Copas, and they release another Gloro colorway, let's leave out the Copa and put the Gloro in, so we actually have something decent to rank.
There we go. That's what we should have done, because the Gloro is far superior to that Copa. Far superior in terms of like the looks.
Okay, yeah, it's a cheaper boot, blah, 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 whatever, but it's actually a better boot when you put everything into consideration.
There's so much hate on the Copa, and I love it.
Don't make a crap boot. Not our fault.
Okay, let's move on to before we do what we've been wearing, let's just move on to our remakes. So our top 5 remakes, same system as before. We will go through from Trev to Andrew to me, starting with 5 points assigned. If you're still watching at this point, you definitely watched us at the beginning. You know how this is going to work.
Mm-hmm.
So in 5th place for best remake Predator ever, Trev, what you got?
The 2018 electricity one.
That's a great
Electricity,
choice.
yes.
This was the first accelerator I ever wore, and I wore them for a full season. I have another pair that I wore there in bits. Absolutely love them. Yeah, very proud.
Andrew?
Can I put multiple of the same
No.
line?
Because I wasn't the top
No. We told Trev that he was only allowed 5, which I think broke his heart. So we definitely can't like start amending the rules for us.
Oh no, I was just number 5. I think for number 5, I will probably put the Black Red Accelerator remake.
2018, the same model.
Yeah.
Nice.
I like that because I didn't put the Accelerator in my top 5. I still think it's a great Predator. Trev is right. That's a very harsh list to have to do a top 5. But the what I loved about the 2018 one was, and Trev, if you even hold up yours, like even on that one, they did a good job. Like on the side, yeah, the red lining and everything, it all flows really well, just like the originals. They did it properly. So I love that they did that. The details were done right. Yeah, that sole plate was an excellent sole plate. It was on a crap boot. Like the normal release was a crap boot, but like, not a crap boot, but not a Predator.
I didn't like the conical studs in 2017. The white accelerator
Precision.
and the blue,
and the Precision.
And the blue Precision. I didn't like the conical ones. But also, see the way that black there.
Yeah.
So a lot of fake pairs of the OG had the black, but when the OG was released, it was red, which I absolutely loved. I loved the way that they actually got one step ahead of the fake market.
I like that. That's smart. My 5th place is also the Electricity Predator. Nice. So you've said it all. It's essentially, I wanted to try and get the Accelerator onto at least one of these lists, and the Electricity one is probably my favorite of the Accelerator remakes. So cool. Move on to 4th place, and Trev, what do you got in 4th?
It's this one. It's a different sole play.
Yeah,
it's a great boot. It really is. When I saw the leak for this, I thought another OG. Now I didn't get the 2018 OG, but when I said I had to get my hands on these, I was very lucky to get 2 pairs, and I wore one of them more in training. But I love the way the tongue was actually original from the 98 one. The remakes would have Adidas underneath
Okay.
that.
Yeah.
But I love the way they did that,
Originals.
and also
Yeah.
the black, and of course then the tongue strap. Now,
Yeah.
I suppose people would say it was like the Eternal class from 2021, so it was a bit lazy. But this is just, as people may not know, it was just for Pro Direct. There was only 998 pairs. They should have numbered them, but again, that's another discussion for another day.
Yeah.
Oh, we've gone off on this pod many times about the fact that they need to number boots.
Yeah,
like
sure. Especially limited editions.
If you're gonna do 1,000 pairs, how hard is it to number 1,000 pairs of boots?
The craziest thing. Okay, so the Mizuno Wave Cups they finally shipped out this week after having pre-orders go up in May, and there's only 400 pairs in Japan, which means there might be like 600 to 800 total worldwide. The original launch back in 2002, the Rivaldo ones were numbered on the tongue, on the other side of the tongue, and there was only 2,002 pairs, and those were all numbered. But then to have this remake and have it in such limited quantities and then just not number it is a massive undersight. You could have copied like the original, just put a number on the tongue or something. But
cheaper for them not to. But it's wrong. It's wrong. Like it's a limited edition. Let's do it right.
Yeah, and especially when it's the pairage is so limited like that. Like I love my favorite way of doing it is I love how they did it on the Chrome Precisions, where you had the country and the number.
Yeah, the platinum. The platinum
platinum. Yeah, that's really cool. So like I've seen some pop up here, and it's like I found one that was USA, and I was like, that's really weird. I would love to know the story of how those wound up in Japan. And obviously found
that's
one.
Very cool.
There was a Japan one, and then what was the other one?
I think there's 9 countries, believe it or not.
I found a German.
Yeah, there was German, there was Italy, there was Spain. Yes, there was Spain. I think there's Dominican Republic as well. UK.
Really?
Yeah, I think there's about 9, 10 countries, and there's 333 pairs per country. It wasn't just 333 pairs in total. I got a pair USA one actually as well. I didn't bother bringing them with me here.
It seems like the USA ones were the easiest to find.
It looks like it, yeah.
A lot of people in the States were fine with giving them up, but like almost every other country, it's almost impossible to find those. So if you're like the Japan one, I've seen it once and it was gone.
France as well. France had them as well.
Yeah.
And the Netherlands. Yeah, there's Netherlands as well. Yeah.
Anyways, moving on.
Back
to what we were doing. Andrew, what's your 4th place?
My 4th place is going to be the White Black Absolute.
White Black Absolute, nice.
So my Pred head buddy, he started kind of playing again. He's a fireman now, and they have they do tournaments and stuff. So kind of like for his wedding gift and kind of like, I haven't gotten you anything for ages because I'm living over here gift, I had Ricky help me get a pair and had it shipped to his house. And I got it in his size and everything. And of course now he's like, oh, these are too tight now. And I'm like, always wore your boots tight, and now you're complaining about a boot being too tight. But he's got them, so yeah. I did that in lieu of myself getting a pair. I wanted to make sure he got a pair.
They seemed very hard to get at the time because I didn't even. You know, you hear a few rumors there's a colorway coming. I actually didn't hear nothing because I think they dropped in December 2020. Was it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think it was 2020, and I could only get my hands on one pair. Yeah, very surprised. They were just sold out.
Yeah, they were.
Yeah.
Is that the Eternal Class ones?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It will be 2020 because the Accelerate Eternal Class came in February, I think, 2021. So it was a couple of months between each other.
Nice. It's good that they're Eternal Class because now I know what I'm talking about because that's number 4 on my list as well. There we go.
Nice.
So I'm doing well here. Looks like I'm just copying either of you. I'm not, I promise. Okay, moving on to 3rd place. Trev, what you got?
This is very different for me to only put in 3rd, but absolutely love this boot. It was like stepping back.
Yeah, it's a great colorway.
Yeah, that's a great one.
When I put them on, I was like stepping back in time. Absolutely loved them. I got a lot of pairs of these, wore a few of them and kept a few. I might wear them again, but there's so many more remakes.
That was one of those that I wanted to get, and I couldn't justify it, like, because at the time I didn't start my blog yet, and so at the time, or maybe I did, but I just was trying to get other boots, and I was just like, couldn't justify it at the time. And looking back, I was like, I should have just gone for it.
Some are arguing that I hadn't got the Champions League logo as of the original.
Yeah, that's kind of a shame. The original,
DB.
Yeah, I don't mind it having DB, but they should have put it somewhere else and just slap the Champions League logo on the back.
There was a fake. Fakes had they had the Champions League logo, and even the sole plate looked dreadful. You knew it was a fake.
I feel like they only didn't do that because they'd have ended up having to pay to use the Champions League logo. It's the same as like numbering things. Like,
I didn't think of that.
I would imagine that's why. Okay, Andrew, your third place. What are you going for?
My third place is the Japan Blue Mania remake.
That's also my third place.
That's one. It's again, the Mania didn't make my top 5 list, but like the remake did it justice. I feel like you can see the stripes go underneath it. I always loved the Japan Blue. The red's done properly, and yeah, it's a really good remake. And yeah, it's just kind of I don't know. That was another one I wanted to get, and I just couldn't. This is too expensive.
Yeah, I think sometimes that's obviously the what puts you off, and the beauty. Honestly, sometimes not reviewing leather boots is an absolute godsend because I just don't even worry about it. Like, it would be so expensive to be going through all the stuff that I actually review, and then trying to pick up these remakes and stuff. Oh, disaster.
Yeah.
Like, I probably still wouldn't end up picking them up. I feel like if you're going to do like all the remakes and things like that, you need to do what Trev does, and like that's what you do. Like, that's what you focus on. Because if you're trying to do like everything, madness.
I do get in discussions with people, you know, it's as if I'm setting the price of the remakes. Like, I agree they are expensive, and I'm the problem because I'm one of them who buys them, but we do agree they are. It is ridiculous money.
It is, yeah, absolutely. When you're paying €300 for 350 euros for these things, but then you've got things like, for example, the Mercurials that we were just talking about there, the cosmic ones. They're €300. I know they're a limited edition, but I think €300 for a remake is too much money.
Yeah.
But then when you're trying to tell me that you're going to charge me that same amount of money for a current generation boot with a shiny surface on it, are you kidding me? Like, I think that's.
But then it goes back to, why not number it and make a proper limited edition and justify how expensive it is.
Yeah, if you're going to make it €300, really justify it. Don't just be like, oh, it's this kind of shiny tech. Like you say, number it, give it a fancy box, like really kind of, you know, like go the whole hog. But yeah, no, it's...
They could even do something like, okay, let's say they don't want to do an individual fancy box for each Pred remake. But if it is a Pred remake, just have a general Pred remake box.
Yeah.
Do something cool, like put all the Preds that have ever been released on as a print on it or something on the paper.
Yeah.
And just like puts like just like the classic Predator logo, and then put remake below it, and there you go.
Yeah.
If you put every remake in that box, it, you know, at least sets it apart.
That's a good idea. Somebody should hire this man. But yeah, so my pick is also the Japan Blue, the Tormentor pack, because for that same reason, the split sole on that I think makes a big difference, and it really sets it apart from a lot of the other remakes. So I put that one in there. And yeah, that's my one from there. Okay, into the top two. Trev, where you going?
With that being said,
there he is.
There it is.
There they are. Why that one, Trev? Why do you, like, you're the Pred head? Why do you love that one so much?
Like, I'm biased. Like, Precision's my favorite, but the Mania is just a great boot, and so they came out in 2020. I actually remember the other pair that I wore, the strap snapped. And I just tossed it aside, disgusted with it. And then a year or two later, I went to a cobbler and got it fixed. It's perfect. And I wore it then last season. And they're just brilliant. Great to play in. They just, you could nearly say 10 out of 10. Has everything. Aesthetically, of course, the stripes around the sole. I know there's a lot of complaints about the
new ones.
the made in Germany or assembled in Germany ones. But performance wise as well, it's great.
We've upset Justin, which is handy.
Justin thinks it should be number one.
Justin thinks the Japan Blue should be number one. We had to upset him at some point while we're talking about Predators, didn't we?
He came back. He's like, "What I miss?" And Chris said, "They put the Edge as the best Predator." And he's like, "Yeah."
If you believe that, you believe anything.
If we're ranking the top worst Predators, maybe it'd be number one.
Hey, that's a good idea. That's another list. Rank the worst
Predators.
Predators.
List is worst Predators of all time. It's
yeah.
The Edge, the Edge, the Edge, the Edge, the Edge, and the Edge. Oh, what an easy list to make. There you go. There's your episode.
Got to wind Justin up a little bit every week. Andrew, you're number two, please.
What's your opinion on the... Okay. Wargui will come back to your question a bit later.
Yes, we are definitely going to come back to that.
Slam dunk. Yeah. My number two?
Yes, please.
Yes. Now, number two is I've switched with Trev, so like the white-red David Beckham precision is my number two.
2, 3, 4.
I just love it. I hate Man United. I think, sorry guys, I think it's, every time they fail, it warms my cold, dead heart.
Is it because of the bad childhood? Because United were so good.
Yes, that's definitely part of it. Like, every time they win, I was just like, again? Oh, this is so horrible. That's why I kind of like, that's why I like supporting Derby sometimes, as we're not always we're rarely in the Prem these days. And so it's just nice. I can just ignore all of that.
You'll always remember One-Shop's debut at Old Trafford when he bet us 3-2.
Yeah, Paul One-Shop. Yeah. We talked about that before. That's an amazing game to have been at as well. But yeah, I do love, the reason I bring that up is I do love they had that charity match and Beckham was in it and he wore those and it was just like, it was so good to look at on pitch and it just was like, that's classic Beckham. Like,
and that was the exact boot I'm sure he wore. That was made for everyone. It wasn't as if it was configured a little bit different.
No, he wore that exact boot. And I love, like, you could easily, like, if you were a bit drunk or something, you could have, or like high, you could have easily seen like, oh, it's a classic United match being shown on TV, blah, 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 blah. Because it just fits so well.
Yeah.
I think we spoke about this the other week. I was at that match, so I was at that charity game and saw that, which was pretty awesome. Okay, so that just leaves me, and I've gone a different direction. Finally, something that somebody else hasn't said. It doesn't like I'm copying everybody. I've gone for the gold absolute for this one.
Yeah.
That was I have no other real reason other than like obviously the callback and the fact it's gold. It looks fantastic. I'm not even a huge lover of the absolute.
In disguise. Are you Ricky? Are you Ricky? Are you Ricky in disguise?
Apparently. But yeah, no, I really, there was something about that one.
Check your DM. Justin's saying check your Instagram DMs.
Okay, cool, can do.
Yeah,
cool.
that gold absolute is superb.
Really nice.
I cannot. There's no way I could wear it, but like that's one of those ones. If I got them, that's like for me. Like okay, it's not the original, but that's almost like glass case type.
Yeah, that absolutely does it for me.
The only thing I would say is the laces are just look. You can cut them off. They're just so long. It reminds me of what they used to be like.
Yeah.
But great bit to play in.
Okay.
Speaking of lacing setup, so like, okay, sorry, just as an aside.
No, go.
Classic wrap it around the tongue. Now, I never did that, but I had a pair of Mercurials that had really long laces. And looking back on pictures and seeing this, it makes me cringe so much. I wrapped them around the bottom of my ankle. Or not the bottom of my ankle, but around my ankle and knotted them there.
Right.
I don't know where I saw it, what the justification was, but yeah, I didn't put a neat little knot on the boot.
Do that when do runners do that with their trainers or sneakers?
I don't remember where I saw. I'm pretty sure I saw a player wear it.
Was it?
Yeah, but So yeah, that's what I did with those. But yeah, sorry. Let's get on to
No, you're all good. We're on to number one. That's where we're at. We're at number one. Trev.
This is part and parcel because it ticks every box in a remake. It's the SG OG.
yeah.
It's got the
should have known that was going to be up there.
Yeah.
Numbered.
It's numbered as well.
Yeah.
SG,
Oh, I didn't realize they were numbered. That's awesome.
Yeah, they are numbered.
SG. I mean, you could say the blue. They're similar, and this just tips it over just because them details and
Yeah.
A great boot to play in. Sorry, go on.
I do love that the numbering is accent on accent. So they numbered it, but they didn't put it in any place that would make it conspicuous or anything. But it's just a little detail. But it's that little detail that just kind of sets it apart, I think.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I feel like you're selling me on that one now. It's not my number one, but like I feel like you're selling me on it. That to be fair, that does look really good. Looks really, really good, to be honest. Honestly, I kind of only wanted to pick one of them, and between the Japan blue and that, and now I'm feeling like I've made the wrong choice. Anyway, Andrew, what's your pick for number one?
This is gonna make Yuli super happy. It'll make a couple of people really happy who I don't think watch our podcast, but it's gonna be the Archive remake. All the different Preds mixed together. Okay, the color, the blue, yeah, sure, it's not great, but the idea and how they pulled it off is awesome, and I loved playing in them. They're such a great boot to play in. Like, they're wild, but they were fun, which was a big thing for me. And because I'm left-footed, the power swerve, power elements were on the left foot, which I was like,
that's right.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect. Absolutely perfect.
I can't remember what latest model was it. Was it the Mutator? Because that was out in 2020.
Yeah. I think it was the Mutator
on the right boot. I ended up going for training because then COVID hit, so there was no football for months. Then we went back in July. I think I ended up showing on Mania. I just got one pair, but yeah, I love the idea of it. Yeah, love the idea.
It's a great idea. I would love to see them do another one. Maybe with not terrible colors, but yeah. It's such. I actually did a full review. I've got a write up on my blog on them. They're awesome. They're really, really good. Just really fun boot to play in. Great ideas, executed really well, save for the colorway.
Here's a question: do you think they left it that colorway instead of a popular OG colorway to keep the sales of the Mutator up, or whatever latest Pred was up? Didn't want to take that.
It wouldn't surprise me, but what I've been told from the Predator Pro from Henson is that they had to include the Addy Power somewhere, and that's how they decide to include the Addy Power is by using the original Addy Power colorway, even though the shade of blue is slightly different.
That was the launch colorway, wasn't it? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it's a shame that didn't sell. Like, that went into discount. Like, you could buy that on sale.
Yeah.
Because I feel like if that had sold well, we would have got more. And that's the kind of thing that I would love to see more of. That was genuinely individual, and it was genuinely kind of a bit innovative, and it was different. I would love to see more of that, but I feel like Adidas took a swing when nobody bought it, or it didn't sell as well as we wanted.
Yeah.
I feel like they've gone, we're not going to do that again. And it's such a shame because it's such a good idea.
I do love that. For me, in some ways, it was a giant middle finger to Nike, because Nike had their What the Mercurial models.
Yeah.
But all
which
they did
was
was
just
do stripes and colorways. And Adidas was like, actually, we can make a Frankenstein boot and still make it wearable. Y'all can't do that. Y'all are just pretenders.
And did you see the details in the box?
Yeah.
It had all the different models on it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Really,
nice.
really well put together package. Really well put together package. Again, aside from the colorway, that would have been like.
We just needed the colorways that they gifted to the guys.
Yeah, they were
because the guys got the red and the black, right?
There's a black and a black and red. Yeah, they were class.
Yeah. Come on now. My number one pick is the Precision, the Beckham Precision that we've already spoken about a couple of times. I won't go into much more detail than that. I think Trev covered all the details. Andrew's thoughts and my thoughts, all the same. So I have put together our definitive, cannot be questioned. This is absolutely the list, and nobody may argue with us list. And this is how it goes. So we've actually got 6 boots. So in 5th and 4th place, kind of joint, we have the Absolute Eternal Class and the Gold Absolute. So the Absolute remix in there, both with 4 points. Then in kind of 3rd place, should we say, we have joint 5 points. We have the SG OG, and we have the Archive. They're both in there. And then running away with it at the top of the table, both joint first, we have the Japan Blue Tormentor. And then we also have the David Beckham Precision. So that is our definitive list, which Trev definitely disagrees with, but it's definitive, Trev.
Oh no, listen, can I argue with that? Can I argue with definitive? Not top the OG Precision.
So yeah, Eternal Class, Absolute, SGOG, Archive, Japan Blue, and Precision.
So how was it? No shootout is it between the blue Japan and the white Precision is it remake?
Yeah, the top joint top. Okay.
With Justin's vote, maybe we'll give the
maybe Justin can give it an extra half a point and push the Japan Blue up into the top.
Yeah.
There we go. Justin's right. Everything except the colors is perfect on the Archive, Fred. That's quite true. Okay, let's have a look here. So let's just dive into a couple more questions, I think, and then we can just have a quick chat about
this one.
Oh, go on. Chat. Yep. I never look at the chat. What
are your thoughts on the Adler Yadigar shoe?
Oh yes, please do.
Tooting my own horn big time here. I'm the reason you know about that boot. Nobody would know except for me and my small little circle if it wasn't for me getting boots out to people. So you're welcome.
Andrew, I wouldn't even know the brand without you.
Yeah. I love the Yadigar shoe. It's my go-to boot. It's one of my favorite boots of all time. It's an amazing boot. I'm getting more.
There you go.
Can't help it.
Like, essentially, the Adler Yadigar shoe, if you're thinking about buying it, buy it. There you go.
Buy it.
Like,
buy it.
That is essentially the long and short of that particular answer.
Corley says hi.
Oh, hey, Carly. How you doing?
That is Yuli's daughter.
Yeah. Okay.
You see the new Adler colors? I did see them. I'm not going to talk about it.
We have deliberately thus far not commented on said Atlas. So
if you want to talk about them, DM me. But I am not going to talk about them publicly because I don't want to deal with the 6 billion questions I'll get about them.
Yeah. So yeah, DMs are there.
DMs.
Okay. Let's take a couple of more questions from the list here. So I've got MD Boots. Trev, we'll start with you. Should they drop a Pred EQT pack? What do you reckon?
Oh yeah, that'd be a good call. So in 2021, I think they dropped the trainer, and I got them. They're so comfortable. They really
I've heard that's like one of the most comfortable Adidas trainers ever.
Really? Now, I don't know what year they dropped an all white and an all pink, just not the EQT, and it was a year or two ago, and I got the all white pair. Now they're fine, but the is it 4QD? I think it's because
it's like 4D or something like that.
It's 4D. Yeah.
I ended up getting a second pair just to have, but
Josh Tossel has a pair, and he was like, these are amazing. Like he was telling me like, you have to get these no matter what. Pay resale prices, whatever. You have to get them.
And I'm not saying it because I wear Preds or whatever else. I'll say if it's not comfortable, that these are a really comfortable trainer.
Yeah, sure. That's what I've heard is a combination.
Well, and I mean white and green. It's a nice color. I mean, seeing that on a white accelerator.
Oh, the Irishman thinks white and green's a great color.
Oh, okay.
It'd only be better if it was black and tan, huh?
Oh,
it'd be nice.
Okay. Footloose Boost asked which of the remakes is the best. I think we answered that. There we go. Justin has a great question here. Texas Cleat Collector. Which Predator gets too much credit? So is there like an overhyped Predator in your eyes?
Excuse me.
Trev, what do you reckon?
I think the LZ. Basically, I think it's got a foundation for a good boot. but to me, I just think it was missing something. I don't know. I just thought when it was released, I just felt it didn't feel like a Predator to me. And from what I heard in the GAA Gaelic games in Ireland, a lot of Gaelic players are wearing them at the moment. From what I heard, from the bootlocker was telling me they are a bit popular to buy, the LZ, and I think the Addy Powers, I think. But yeah, for me, I didn't see the hype around the LZ at all. I didn't think much of it.
Fair enough. Is there anything that springs to your mind, Andrew, as an overhyped
You don't
Predator?
want my answer. No, nobody wants my answer. So
we all want your answer. That's what we're here for.
No, we don't.
We're here for your hot takes. That's why we have a podcast. It's so you can make hot takes.
Trev, sorry, I think the Mania gets too
there
much credit.
There we go.
Oh, the from 2000, yeah. Listen,
yeah,
everything gets
way too much credit. Everything has to too many people make it to where everything has to lead back to the Mania.
Yeah,
I think people make the Mania the foundation pred upon which every other pred is built, and I don't think so. I think
my opinion is
way too much credit.
I think going back, so the Accelerator put the Predator on the world stage. I felt the Precision brought it forward. The Precision brought it forward for the Millennium with the futuristic stripes. I just thought the Mania cemented it in boot history, but I wouldn't be of the type to say Mania. I love the Mania, but I'd be always going further back to the Precision. But I understand where some people just say Mania. It could be down to they never wore the Accelerator or Precision as well. But is the Mania overhyped? After wearing the Pulse, I'd say no. Mm-hmm. That's just my opinion.
No, that's what we have you here for, Trev. We have you here for your opinion. That's that.
Justin saying in the chat, everything does lead back to the Mania. No Mania, no Adler. And that is a gross misunderstanding of the Japanese boot market as a whole.
Oh, dear.
What's been the Blue Mania, though? If we said the Blue Mania, Andrew, would you?
The Blue Mania is fantastic, but again, I think it's just
I actually don't remember.
I don't disagree. It put the Predator on the world stage.
Yeah.
And those are probably my favorite Predator commercials of all time. Are the what was it? The yeah. And it's like we've discovered a cure, and it's just like this goop.
Yeah, very good.
Yeah, so well done, so well done. But yeah, I just sorry, and it's funny too because Beckham was very much a Mania player, or very much a Predator player, but when I think Beckham, I don't associate the Mania with him as much.
What would you associate with him?
For me, Beckham is more Pulse.
Oh, wow. Really?
Yeah.
I suppose,
that's when we started getting a lot of actually Beckham-specific colorways. I think it's part of it.
Yeah, sure.
But yeah, I don't always, when I think Mania, I do think Zidane a lot more. Or just a Predator wearer. I don't tend to think of one specific player when I think Mania.
I suppose
it was kind of the Predator for everyone.
When he's at United, you see him all wearing the Accelerator Precisions, Manias.
Yeah.
Well, I probably would associate him with there, But yeah, you're right. With the Pulse, it was she was the Yin Yang. Then you had the thumbprint, the Dragon. Mm-hmm. So I know I can see where you're coming from with the Pulse. Yeah. But I always associate him further back.
Oh, with the Precision or the Accelerator.
Yeah. Well,
those to me both are also very much Beckham Preds. I think it felt like the Mania was so widespread that it wasn't really his boot in a way.
Yeah, but then if you ask anyone, say, give you memory of the Gunmetal Mania, they'll say not a moment. They'll say when he signed for Madrid, he didn't even play a match.
Yeah, so that's true. That's very true. That's very true. That picture goes hard.
Yeah.
Jake Singer in the chat he's a question. It's something we've addressed previously, but it keeps getting brought up by other people as somewhat of thinking it's a stick to beat us with, and I disagree. So I'm going to read it out again. This is the reverse. If today's Predators came out in 2002 and had nostalgia, do you think they would be thought of as the best ever? So it's an interesting reverse of. So essentially,
say in 20 years' time, is it would the elite?
So previously, Andrew and I have said that if you release the current the Mania from 2002 today with no nostalgia, then it wouldn't be considered a great boot because it would be too heavy and it just wouldn't.
Oh, like the original
fit
soul plate and
today's-
everything.
Yeah,
Okay,
exactly. So not a remake, an exact one-to-one.
Yeah.
Then that was, remake. If you change the tooling and stuff, that's different.
Yeah.
But like an exact one-to-one.
I have a 3-word answer. It's
Go on.
all relative.
Yeah.
It is. I mean, 2002 we had the World Cup. We don't have a World Cup year this year. Yeah, we had the Euros, but
it's not the same.
Not the same. Yeah.
We talked about this before about Adidas not creating iconic moments by making the Japan blue the color that the players wore at the Euros, rather than creating a new color just for the Euros. That was kind of.
But also you got like a lot of their players wearing, like Bellingham wore basically every fold-over tone color.
Yeah.
I mean, I could look at an old Pred and tell you what
wore them and when.
or Zidane did in that colorway. Now I know look, football has moved on, but I suppose that's why we're in the boot collecting as well. It's
that's true. Sure.
Cool. So here's an interesting one, which kind of leads into that. So this is Alex_Garcia30. Would you prefer the Pred remakes with their original studs and sole plates, or obviously what we're getting at the moment, which is obviously whatever the current sole plate is?
No, I mean, well, actually, I think that sole plate, this sole plate is a winner. They should have kept it.
Yeah.
I understand with cost production, they keep the case, whatever the current sole plate is, they'll go with that. But no, like 20 years ago, you pick up a boot, it's much heavier. Obviously, you want a boot from the past much lighter now.
Yeah, you do. I would argue that the same thing, that you need to have whatever current iteration of the sole plate. Now, agreed, they should have just kept that sole plate around that was on the what?
It's on the Mutator.
I think it's Mutator. Yeah.
Mutator. They should have just kept that for every remake, and would have been fine. You probably would have had a lot of complaints. I don't normally like split soles because split soles have a tendency to be less durable, but there hadn't been issues with that. So, because so many of the Preds from the past were split sole, except for the hard ground ones, obviously, it just makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I think it makes sense to swap it. I think they should have kept the that one off the Mutator. I think that's essentially the logical way to go and the right answer.
And what you're now doing too is, if you keep that, you're giving a remake for a lot of people, because people might be scared of the studs on the current Predator, whereas that Mutator sole plate was more rounded and a lot more people could wear it, and you're making a Predator for everybody, basically. So anybody could. So people who would look at a Predator remake, like the recent ones, might be scared away by the sole plate. Whereas that, they could be like,
mad long studs on the things.
Yeah. That's, if you go back, that's what the whole Predator was all about.
Yeah.
I know that's what the Predator was about, and that's fine. But tastes have changed so much.
Yeah.
Another interesting question, Trev. You are the only person here who can answer this. This is from D_Rodriguez77. Is the made in Germany calf leather significantly different to the K leather? So, can you tell the difference? Does it make much of a difference? Do you care?
No, it doesn't make a difference. Well, to me, I mean, I'll just park that question for a second. Where people are arguing about these made in Germany remakes, the stripes aren't going around the boot. I get it. Aesthetically, they weren't going around the boot. But performance-wise, and it goes back to that question, the Pearl Mania, I'm going to throw it up there with the Rotario for the best boot of the year.
Wow.
There we go. Hot takes.
Yeah.
Hot takes.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of a cold take. I don't think there's going to be a lot of people who will disagree with that. I mean, I'll disagree with it, but I think overall there will be a lot of people looking at it and be like, yeah, that's justified.
Yeah, that's probably true.
Even taking out the love of the Pred out of the equation, there's a very good case that there will be a lot of people who have the Rotario or the one of the Mania remakes and for their boot of the year.
Yeah,
we'll see.
Got a question from the Boot Zone in the chat here. What do we think about making an SL version of the current Pred? Personally, I don't think it's necessary. I think it's really not necessary at all.
Already.
Yeah, they're already super light. I don't think it's needed.
The whole SL thing is kind of come and gone. in a way.
I never even got. Was the Addy Power the first one?
The Addy Power is the first one. Then you
But
had
it
the
didn't have
LZ
the
and the
elements.
LZ2.
Am I right in saying that? It didn't have the elements. It had a
No.
design of it, but the elements.
Yeah, it had some. It was embossed. The elements were embossed, and they were slightly like. If you really just focused when you're rubbing them, they were.
I never got them. I never got them.
You know. Yeah.
I did have the ones in that like slime green color at one point.
Oh, that was disgusting.
Disgusting. One of the worst colorways.
They weren't SL though. That was just a.
No, there was an SL.
No, there was an SL.
It's like
right.
yeah. So yeah, there's that one, and then obviously I've got the Beckham synthetics, and then tried the leather. So Chris Pottle says Messi F50 boot of the year.
It's close.
Like there's a call for that. I don't think it won't be my boot of the year, but it will definitely be in the conversation.
Mine, but it's up there.
Yeah, for sure. Cool. So I think unless anybody else has seen anything else, that is us
What
done
are we wearing this
for
week?
the evening. Apart from what are we wearing, because I forgot about that, like I did the other week as well. Thank you very much, Andrew. And I'm supposed to be the organized one.
Yeah, Trev, what have you been wearing this week? Is it a Predator by chance?
I was actually wearing a nice pair of black shoes. No, yeah, I was wearing a Predator. So I was actually wearing the Citrus Energy Elite pair this week for a change.
Nice.
Yeah, just thought I'd rock them for the 2 training sessions. I need to go back and do a full review on the Blue Japan. I have a match tomorrow. It'll be Pearls tomorrow, but I definitely got to get the Blues back on next week.
Nice. Andrew, what have you been wearing this week?
I had intentions of wearing something, but didn't because I was tired and just passed out every day. But obviously,
yep,
I finally got these in this week. Glorious boot. Sorry, Trev. I know it's just like he's like, what the hell is this?
I don't know. Is that's football?
These are.
How are you getting on with sizing on those? So obviously, like there's kind of
size is perfect.
Yeah, so there's almost half a size difference between you and me, and I have the same size as you do, and I think they're borderline. I do want to try half a size down.
Yeah, I haven't gone out and played in these. But based on the fit and how they feel, I'm expecting great things. I think, and some people in the chat are saying up half size and get a shirt. I'm going to recommend that for most people.
Go up.
Yeah, so that's where I'm going to go as well. For when I do my review, or like I've already put out one video, when I do the full review, I'll say the same thing. I will say for most people, go up half a size. That is the right thing to do. For me personally, true to size is the way to go. I think that's me too. I need to get a pair that's true to size.
I couldn't imagine doing half size up in these. It would just be too big. I know the toe box is low and everything, but
the upper's so
true
soft.
to size, it just and it fits so well.
Like, what was your I don't want to get too far off track into Sakitos here, but so I put those on for the first time and literally put them on and went, holy crap. Like they're comfortable, they're soft, like that. Like just putting them on my feet, I was like, "That is a special football boot."
Is it very light?
They're about 200 grams. Like but they feel lighter than they are.
182 in a size 9 or in a UK 8.
Yeah, that sounds about right. I think.
Yeah.
I weighed mine. I can't remember.
Very light.
But yeah, they're.
If I was to have a complaint, that weak point is kind of concerning. It's not as bad. It's not as bad as other boots' weak points by far.
No.
This is way better than the Mercurials, the current Mercurials, which are still just a meh boot, by the way. And I will say, I would have liked to see the studs up here just be about 1 millimeter or 2, maybe just 1 millimeter forward.
Mm-hmm.
That's just personal preference. But okay, let's put it this way. I'm pretty sure I'll get a second pair of these.
I'm getting a second pair. Like in a half size down, it will happen, and I'm going to wait till the next colorway comes out, and I'm going to get another pair. Like though, I very rarely do I put on a pair of football boots and go, I'm that impressed by them. Like this is it. Yeah. They're not perfect. They're not perfect. There are a couple of issues, but dear God, they're good.
No boot is perfect.
Yeah.
Which is fine, but these are really damn good.
Yeah.
Apart from the white precision that we definitively.
Obviously. Speaking of weak points on football boots, so this is what I got in this week.
Yay!
So this is the Kipster CLR Elite. Now I can't remember. I think this is called the Jaguar Fury colorway. Just for fun. And so I haven't been out and playing these yet. They only came in the other day. On the whole, pretty good. They're like €80, I think. The upper's quite nice, and for a boot at this price point, they're pretty light. They're about 205 grams. The insole's really nice. They've got some really good stuff. I think there's a lot to like about this for the price point. However, my favorite thing to do on the podcast at the moment,
it's just
so it's not awful. Like, you know how I folded those Tiempos in two last week? So it doesn't do that. Like, it still has that level of structure here. So it does hold in the middle. But the fact that it still bends there as opposed to up here. So, like, it's kind of got two weak points. It bends there and then follows through. So this isn't one of those like the Tiempo where I'm like, it's so unbelievably bad that I can fold it up into a ball and like spin it round. But I would definitely like to see obviously more structure. But the boot is €80, so there's that to take into account. It'll be interesting when I play in them. Give them a go. But they're I think for the... So I recently reviewed the €60 Kipster Veralto. That I thought was exceptional value for money at €60. This, I think, will be fine value at €80 and very much in, like... The problem it's going to have is that it will be about the same quality or level as the F50, the Mercurial. It's not as good as the Puma Ultra Match. That's very fair. That's true. But like, it's in that kind of ballpark, and nobody's going to pick up a Kipster over an F50 or a Mercurial if they're kind of if they're the same price, same quality. They're going to go and buy the big brand. But I think they'll be in that. They're definitely in that kind of, maybe similar to the F50 league, for sure. But yeah, if you want a boot at this price, the Ultra Match is really top tier. I've got a review of that coming as well. So that's what we're wearing this week.
Alex Martinez in chat. Josh just did a review. Maybe he's finally branching out to other brands. He is absolutely not doing that.
He's absolutely not.
We talked about this list. Yeah, he like, I'm pretty sure he's doing it because he's got affiliate links for it. We've discussed this at length last week. He got off at Adler's. He never responded. Never even... I tried messaging him several times. It's just pointless. And someone's saying more Adler colorways and bigger sizes. I'm trying. Bigger sizes are on their way. If you need a 10.5 or 11 US, email them. I'm pretty sure they can make them now. Jake Singer wants to talk about the Furon V7 Destroy. And
first tier takedown. Pretty good.
Yeah, that's what I've heard. Or New Balance MG plates in general. The HG plates are awesome because they're all-around studs. And Chris says he's still waiting for his Adlers to review. Buy a pair, buddy.
Speaking of sole plates, very briefly, and HG plates and things like that, my Puma King Ultimate HGs, the sole plate on those is incredible. It's the same sole plate that they put on many other boots. It was on, I always forget the name of it. There's that, like, it's the Puma boot. It was leather. They recently turned it synthetic.
Mirai.
That's the one. I think it's the same. It's the same one that's on that. It's a really nice sole plate. Really, really good. It's almost the best thing about the boot, to be honest. But yeah, I don't know. Just thought I'd bring that up because it sprung into my mind. Any more? Trev, anything else you would like to discuss, bring up, or otherwise tell the people of the world, such as maybe how they can find you on Instagram?
Well, first of all, thank you very much, Andrew and James, for having me on. It's been a pleasure.
Thanks for joining us.
Really enjoyed talking.
Welcome anytime.
Within the boot hour. Yeah.
Yes, boys did theirs in 40 minutes yesterday. I was like, amazing.
I can be found on my Instagram at Trev Dunphy.
Nice.
Perfect. Go show Trev some support. Andrew, where can the people find you, sir?
Lockhart Boot Blog on Instagram and my blog.
There we go. Nice and straightforward. Of course, you're on the Boot Wizard YouTube channel right now. So remember to like this video, get subscribed to the channel, leave your top fives down in the comments if you're watching this on the catch up, which will go live on Sunday. Find me on Instagram at Boot Wizard Boot Reviews, on TikTok at Boot Wizard, and right here. But that's all from us today. Thank you very much for being with us. Thank you so much to Trev. That's actually been
thank you so much.
a ton of fun, Trev, and I've
Really
loved
enjoyed it.
having your knowledge of the Predators on here. You are welcome anytime, sir. And with that, thank you everybody in the live chat, and we will see you soon.
See ya.